and today I'm going to show you how to square stitch this cute little Easter egg. It's so adorable. And the reason I'm not on camera today is because, well, I talked about it in Thursday's podcast, in which I was wearing an eye patch, so refer back to that if you are confused. But if you don't know how to square stitch, please feel free to check out my square stitch basics video. Link can be found in the description box below, as well as the eye in the top corner, which is just over here. So feel free to click on that and it will take you to that tutorial. But yes, I won't natter on for too long. Let's just get on with this tutorial, shall we? Okay, so for like most bead weaving tutorials, I am using size 11 Miyuki Delica beads. You're going to need beading thread, a size 10 beading needle, and that little spring there is called a bead stopper. It stops your beads sliding off the end. So we're going to start out by putting the bead stopper on the end of our thread, which is cut to around 75 centimeters. We're going to start with the top 3 beads. So we're going to pick up 3 pink beads, although I think I'm using like a lavender color, lilac color, but hey, it looked pretty. So pick up 3 beads, slide it down to the bead stopper. Then you are going to start your square stitch by square stitching 3 more beads on top of the 3 beads that you just picked up. Square stitch is a very different technique to bead weaving, to brick stitch, sorry. It takes a little bit more practice. I am very much out of practice at the minute with square stitch and need to get back on that. This didn't end up being the tidiest square stitch I've ever done. It doesn't help that there's a camera in my way as I'm filming this and whatnot, but yes. Then I just take the bead stopper off because it kind of gets in my way. It's not so much a big problem when you've only got 3 beads to worry about, but when you've got like 10, sometimes they come sliding off. So then we're going to pick up 2 more pink beads and we are going to increase. So we're going to increase on this row and the row below, or do the first bead of the row below. So we are just going to go back through that bead again. If you've watched my square stitch basics video, you will already know how to increase. I can't explain it in every video because otherwise it will be a long video. And now once again, we are just going to attach 3 pink beads to finish off this row quite nicely. Oh, the sunshine's come out, how lovely. I had a bit of a difficult time battling with the lighting in this particular video, in case you couldn't tell. The sun didn't know what it was doing, and every time I got the lighting right, the sun would come out, and my goodness. So now, I'm sipping on a cup of tea, apologies. So now you are going to increase on both this row and the row above, because this is how square stitch works. It's a little bit confusing, but just make like a scrappy practice sample until you've got the hang of it, and then jump into projects. That is exactly what I did when I first started square stitch. It made no sense to me for a long time. So I would start at the widest point and decrease on either end, which I still have to do for peyote because I can't work out how to increase in peyote. So if anyone has any good tutorials, please send them my way. So that's that row done. We're just rearranging it, trying to make it nice and straight. I'm also watching Grace and Frankie and Grace, can't remember what way around it is. Season 3 hit Netflix on the day that I'm filming this, which is Friday. So I'm watching that as I catch up. So yes, I am now increasing once more on this row and then doing the first bead on the row below. And then this row I am going to be alternating between yellow beads and pink beads. So I've just attached a yellow bead, then I'm going to pick up a pink bead and attach that. Thought I'd use pastel colours because it's nice in springtime, and then realised that they don't film all that well. So that's my bad. So now picking up another yellow bead and fighting with my beadwork somewhat by the looks of things. This happens sometimes. Yeah, and then another pink bead. You got the routine. We're alternating between yellow and pink. Obviously, you don't have to do the design that I've given you. Play around with it. It's an Easter egg. Make it your own. You're now attaching another yellow bead. And then we are going to pick up 2 pink beads and we're going to increase on both this row and the row above. Yes. Then we don't need to increase it again on this row because these rows are both the same thickness. If ever I say anything in any of these tutorials that don't make any sense, but you understood it before I over-explained it, just ignore me. Fab. So now the next row we are going to be doing is just a complete pink row. So I start doing these 2 at a time. So you every so often, or I think I do it for the rest of the tutorial, every other row I do 2 at a time. So you pick up 2 beads and you loop around 2 beads. I don't do it on every row because it creates weird gaps, even when I don't line up when I do it every time. But if you want me to make a separate video on how I do that, let me know. That can be a Cheeky Thursday video if you're interested. It just speeds up the process a little bit and could also explain why my beadwork isn't the straightest in this video. I don't know, because I've done it before and it's come out beautifully. I'm just very out of practice. So now we need to increase on this row and also sew the first bead of the row below. So pick up 2 pink beads. We are going to increase. Go back through that bead. And then for this row, I'm alternating between the blue and the pink. So just picked up a blue bead and I'm attaching that. And making sure everything is nice and tight and tension is good. And then another pink bead. And I'm sorry I'm out of focus. I try so hard to stay in focus, but I don't know. Apparently I didn't do a very good job today. And another blue bead. You know what I mean by alternate. I don't need to explain it to you. So does anyone have any Easter plans? I'm going back to England in a couple of weeks because my best friend is getting married, which is very exciting and also a bit scary because we've been friends since we were 14. So I don't feel mentally old enough to be at an age to get married. I'm not saying that people of 26 aren't old enough to get married because that's ridiculous, obviously. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm grown up enough yet to get married. So it baffles me that my friends are. It makes me laugh. I'm still, in my head, I still feel about 23, I think. That is the age that I feel. And I don't know if that will ever change. So now we're picking up 2 pink beads and we are increasing on both this row and the row above. Because we did it on the other end, so now we need to do it on this end. Square stitch is weird. It's really weird how you work increases, but it works, so don't complain. Somebody asked whether you can increase at the beginning of the row and then at the end of the row. I said, well, I don't know how to, so if you know of a way, let me know. And they haven't got back to me, so I'm going to imagine they can't think of a way. So now I am doing the next row. I'm doing this 2 at a time and I'm alternating once again between blue beads and pink beads, but I'm switching the order that I do them in. So I start with a blue bead. You don't need to increase. So going blue, pink instead of going pink, blue, if that makes sense. It should do. Because then you get this nice little alternate pattern, which was meant to look a bit like a zigzag. I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't look much like a zigzag, but in my head it was going to look like a zigzag. And I'm gonna stop saying zigzag because that is one of those annoying words. And then finish off the row with a blue bead. Wunderbar. So now the next row is just a completely pink row. So you don't need to increase. Once again, we are on the straight run, no more increasing for this wee egg. Only a bit of decreasing to come in a couple of rows time. Oh, throwing my beads around. I'm such a professional YouTuber, can you tell? Sorry if you can hear background noise. There's building work going on outside and it's just like a low hum. I apologised for it in yesterday's podcast, Thursday's podcast, and then watched it back and realised you can't hear it. But I also just put the dishwasher on because I'm really disorganised. And our kitchen is in the same room as our like living space. So, and that's where I edit. So I can't really, well, I could escape that. I could go into the room, my room, I suppose. But it's fine. Like I said, I make these tutorials for fun. I enjoy making them. I enjoy showing people how to do various things. Yes, I do make some money off of it, but I don't make much money off of it. Therefore, I don't consider it my job, because that's when I get fed up with it. Does that make sense? So now I am going to be doing two at a time again, alternating between yellow and pink this time. So starting off with a yellow bead, we are going to be doing yellow, then pink, then yellow, then pink, then yellow, then pink, etc. Finishing with a yellow as well. I'm drinking a tea that a lovely subscriber sent me. It's an English breakfast tea, but it's from a German distributor. And I'd never thought to look in a German tea shop for English breakfast tea, which sounds so snobby of me, I know, but I know what I like. But this tea is absolutely delicious, so I feel stupid for panicking about running out of tea ever for the 2 years I've lived here. It's an important staple of my life. I have to have multiple cups a day. Cool. Next row. We are going to decrease by 1 on either side. So following the pattern of your beadwork, sew through it a little bit till you come out of a bead which is 1 in from the end. And then I am going to bead the whole way across in pink. Wonderful. Kind of wish I'd painted my nails for this tutorial, I'm not gonna lie. Could have painted my nails to look like Easter eggs. I'm trying to let them grow out a little bit before the wedding. And for some reason, if I wear nail varnish, I'm more inclined to pick off the nail varnish and therefore bite my nails. Doesn't make any sense. I don't try to pretend it does. And sewing across. And sewing across. One more, because we're decreasing on this side as well. It's nice and symmetrical. So then once again we are going to decrease 1 on either side. So sew back through your beadwork following the pattern of the beads till you come out of a bead which is 1 in from the end. And then you're going to attach 5 more pink beads. And that's it. It's a really quick make. It means it's great for quite simple but pleasant Easter cards. You could just glue that on the front of a card. I've done that for quite a few cards recently. It's Mother's Day today. Happy Mother's Day in the UK. Or Mothering Sunday, as it is known as in my family. And I just used some E6000 glue and glued it onto the front of a card because I made 3 Mothering Sunday cards this past weekend. Oh no, for this weekend. And sent to my mum, my boyfriend's mum, and my grandma. Because that is the kind of person I am. So hopefully they receive them in time. So yes, this is me realising that it hasn't come out the straightest ever. But then you just sew back through your beadwork. Now you could use this as earrings, you could stick a pin back on it. Also, once again, I use E6000 glue. Sometimes I stick some felt on the back, depending on how big it is. And then just stick a pin back onto it, or a brooch back. But make sure you follow the pattern of the beads so your thread isn't seen. You could use it as a phone charm, you could use it as a stitch marker for knitting or crochet, you could use it as a necklace, pendanty thing, a hair clip, anything, a charm on a bracelet. The world truly is your oyster. Stick it on a label for a present. Okay, I'll stop giving you ideas, but yes. If you get stuck with any beading techniques and there's just one bit that you just can't work out, feel free to ask me. I like to help out whenever I can. If it's something that I have no idea about, I will tell you that I have no idea about it. I won't lie. If you want to make it into a necklace or a pendant, all you have to do, and I've done this for a few of my previous tutorials, is just sew a loop of seed beads at the top. I would go through that top central bead and sew a loop of size 11 clear seed beads, or you could continue and use pink beads or whatever. Nothing's stopping you there. And just make sure you trim your thread off really close to your beadwork without cutting any of the beadwork itself, because that would be really sad. So yeah, just sew back and forth a few times, making sure that thread isn't going to come sliding out and your beadwork isn't just going to go across the floor, because that would be really sad. And here is your little leg finished. So now you know just how easy and quick it is to make your very own square stitch Easter egg. It's so cute. The only problem that I had, and the reason my beads aren't sitting completely straight, is one, I'm out of practice of square stitch, which is the big one, and two, my beads are slightly different sizes, so they don't sit together perfectly, but that's okay. Ooh! It just looks a little bit homemade. If I didn't want something to look homemade, I'd go out in a shop and buy it, you know? But I think they're super cute. They'll make really nice earrings, it'll make a nice pin, brooch, jobby. It would be nice just stuck on the front of a card for like a little Easter card or something. And I just think it would be really cute. Links to where I bought all of my supplies and the colours that I use can be found in the description box below, as well as a list and links to all of my social media. If you haven't checked it out already, feel free to check out Thursday's podcast, in which I look like a disco space pirate. And I think that's everything I have to say. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial, and I shall see you very soon in my next video. Bye!